Mike and I took a trip up to Stillwater Reservoir at the end of June in 2016. We don't get a chance to get up here very often, so we thought we'd take the opportunity when there wasn't very many sites that were taken to check them out for future reference. We thought maybe you'd like some of this information as well. This is number 10. That green 10 is Mike's. Mine's the gray and red one way on the other side of the island. This is our tarp and the fire pit that looks over the lake. Great little setup on this site. My favorite part is this beach. This is actually the smaller part of the beach. It wraps around to the right where there's a bigger area, all great for swimming. Site 10, I recommend it. However, this site I do not recommend. This is site number 11. Right behind those bushes is some standing water that could spell trouble at the right time of the year. I'm sure the mosquitoes would just pick you up and carry you away. This is basically what you get for site 11. You put your tent right on the beach. There's an old dock. Here's that standing water I was talking about. Like I said, that right there just says bugs to me. But it's not horrible. I've seen worse. Next up is one of my favorites that we saw this afternoon. It's called Popple Point, site number 12. It's got a huge sandy area, a little bay area that the ducks are looking at right there. It's pretty. It's not standing because that water keeps wrapping around that sandy section and keeping the water moving over there, so it's not very stagnant. We parked the boat at the very end of the sandy beach. We walked over to the site. You have to walk up a little trail. It's not very far. And there's a great fire ring that looks down on the lake. In a second, you'll see that we're up a little bit above the lake. Not too far, though. There you go. Mike's standing up in the site. So anyway, I recommend 12. This is definitely one that we would camp at. We would camp at any of them, but this is one we would really enjoy camping at. 13, it looked like the entrance, the landing is all washed away. We couldn't really get up. The water was really shallow. It could be a great site up on top, but you can see right behind the letters T and E in the word campsite is where you would climb up. But you couldn't even grab roots. Not much of a shore going on at campsite 13 either. A couple years ago, we stayed at campsite 14, which is our next one. It's called Shallow Cut because there's some very shallow water between the island and the land. You have to go around the island to get to it. Here we'll see us kind of coming around the island, and that sandy point right in the middle of the screen is the landing for site number 14. And we come up to it. You have to climb up a steep little path to get to a plateau up top where the site is. There's room for a few tents. They moved the fire pits down here on the beach now. There's no fire pit up in the actual campsite itself, which is a little funky. But here's the plateau and here's the view from it. You can set your tent up basically right where I'm standing. And as I turn around, you'll see that there's plenty of room for another tent, or two even. 14's a nice big site. And that can get a little windy there, take my word for that. Next up, we went up into Big Burnt Lake. These sites are not in order as they are in the lake. They're just in chronological order. Here's number 17. It's up in Big Burnt Lake in the very back corner. It's an island. It really feels like you're on a river, though, because it's not very open water you can see. But the site itself isn't too bad. If you're not into swimming, you're just going to be hanging out. This might be a good one for you. It seems like there's lots of real thick woods around, too, that you might be able to get wood for your fire. If you're like Mike and I, and we find our own. There's the fire pit and the man-made bench out of the old fallen tree. So that was 17. The next one is 19, also up in Big Burnt Lake, but we didn't really get a chance to climb up. There's a steep little incline to get up to the peninsula. Big Burnt Lake, there aren't many people up there, though, or at least there aren't when we're there. So it seems like these sites might be a little more remote. Here you can see the little sign 19, and it's up on top of the hill, behind those big trees. We were at 19 a couple of years ago. We didn't stay there, but we checked it out. It's definitely not a bad site. It's not very big. All right, the next two sites aren't very nice at all. They remind me of 11. This is 22, and basically what you see is what you get. put your tent right on the beach. And here's 24, which is basically spinning image of 22. Not much going on. They're up at the northern shore of the lake. 24 had a nice beach area though. 25, this is way up in the north area. It's one of the most remote sites, I think. But what a cool site it is. It's got its own character, that's for sure. Might be a little tough to find firewood, as you'll see the site is kind of on a long, thin peninsula, which has been picked clean. The privy is way back on that. So it might be tough to find firewood on this site, but definitely I would camp on it, especially if you're somebody that brings your own firewood or has a chainsaw, which annoys us when we're here. But I understand. Alright, here's the next site. This is number 29, which is kind of right across from where we're camping right now, number 10. This also has a cool character. It's got a front side and a back side. A lot of these sites seem to have two fire pits, one on the beach and one near the site. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to have a fire on the beach or set up your tent on the beach, but I definitely could be wrong. So this is a great view. It's got lots of nooks and crannies to look at from site number 29. And here's 30. This is called Picnic Point for a good reason. It's got a great spot, lots of beach area. It goes way out into the middle of the lake. You're right on the side of one of the biggest sections of the lake, so kind of a lot of traffic as far as boats. Same here. There's one downfall to 30, and we'll see it in a little bit, but there's kind of a swampy area back behind it. But it's a good ways away. I don't know if it would really be an issue, to be honest with you. You're going to see it in this video right here. I'll zoom in on it. So that little swampy area might be a concern, but it didn't look like Max minded. So anyway, those are a few of the sites we got to see. The rest were occupied. Hope you enjoyed it.